Openclaw, mission control plus agent teams. You are wasting hours every single day, not because you are lazy, because you are managing your AI instead of letting it work. Switching tabs, checking chats, losing track of what your agents are actually doing. You have the tools, but you have no command center. That changes today because Openclaw just dropped mission control. And once you see what it does, you will never go back. Hey, I am Julian. Welcome back. Today we are going deep on Openclaw mission control and how it changes the way you run AI agent teams. Stick around because later I will show you how to set up your own custom dashboard from scratch, and I will break down which features actually save you time versus the ones you can skip. Quick background, Openclaw is an open source AI agent tool built by developer Peter Steinberger. It started as ClaudeBot, became Moltbot briefly, and landed as Openclaw in early 2026. This is not a chatbot. It is an agent that actually does things. It sends emails, browses the web, modifies files, runs code, and executes real tasks autonomously. Think of it as a digital worker sitting at your computer. It surpassed 150,000 GitHub stars in just a few days. That kind of growth happens because people tried it and could not believe what it was doing. But once people started running multiple agents, a real problem showed up. Running one agent is manageable. Running 5 or 10, you have no idea what is running, what is stuck, or what is done. You're jumping between terminal windows, chat interfaces, and log files just to figure out if anything is actually working. It defeats the whole point of automation. Mission Control was built to solve exactly that. Mission Control is a centralized dashboard that gives you one place to manage all your agents, tasks, and workflows. One screen, full visibility, full control. Think air traffic control. Instead of every pilot talking to a different tower, everything routes through one central hub, and you can intervene whenever something needs a human decision. There are a few real versions of this available right now. The Mission Control GitHub repo by CRSHDN connects to Openclaw via WebSocket and runs locally on port 4000. ClawDeck at clawdeck.io is another open source option built specifically for Openclaw users. Both are legitimate active projects. The layout uses a Kanban board with columns for backlog, in progress, review, and done. Every task your agents are working on shows up as a card that moves across columns in real time as work progresses. You can tag tasks and filter the board so you only see what you care about at any given moment. If you have 10 workflows running across different projects, filtering down to one context makes everything instantly clearer. The agent sidebar shows all your active agents, their status, and lets you create or manage them from one place. One feature worth highlighting is Gateway Agent Discovery. If you already have agents running in your Openclaw gateway, you import them into Mission Control with one click. Nothing gets rebuilt from scratch. Now, this next one gets overlooked, but it is really important. Mission Control lets you set approval gates on sensitive actions like sending emails or modifying files. Your agent does the work, then pauses for your green light before anything irreversible happens. As you build trust in a specific workflow, you reduce those gates gradually. You start with guardrails and remove them as confidence builds. You can also connect Mission Control to multiple Openclaw gateways at the same time. Different machines, different environments, different parts of your workflow, all visible from one dashboard. Teams can run separate agents for separate departments without creating information silos. Boards and board groups help keep that organized. One board for client work, one for personal automation, one for research. Board groups combine related boards, so larger strategies stay coordinated as task volume grows. The live feed shows every event in Openclaw as it happens. Agent runs a skill, task updates, board card moves. All of it appears instantly. For debugging, this changes everything because you catch problems as they happen instead of tracing backwards through logs after something breaks. Now let us talk installation because this is where a lot of people get stuck. Two main options, Docker and manual. Docker is the easier path. Clone the Mission Control repo, copy the environment file, configure your settings, and run Docker Compose up. Dashboard runs at localhost port 4000. One thing to watch, when running in local auth mode, your auth token must be at least 50 characters or the app will not run. Manual setup gives you more control for customization or specific environments where Docker is not ideal. Clone the repo, install dependencies with npm, configure your environment variables, and start the Next.js app directly. Either way, make sure your Openclaw gateway URL is set correctly so Mission Control can actually connect to your agents. For Windows users, the shell commands do not always translate directly, so Manus is a Windows-compatible alternative worth looking at if you hit issues. Here is the part most people miss. You do not have to use the pre-built dashboard. You can use Openclaw itself to build your own. Describe the interface you want in plain language. Openclaw reads your instructions and writes the code to produce a working dashboard. You iterate and refine until it reflects exactly how you think about your work. People build a working first version in one afternoon and improve it from there. A good starting point is pulling an existing open source mission control project from GitHub as a base and using Openclaw or Claude to modify it for your specific needs. Running multiple agents means multiple API calls, and that adds up. Keep sub-agents focused and narrow. The tighter the scope of each agent, the fewer tokens it uses per call. Mission control helps here because structured task assignment means agents are not processing context they do not need. A research agent gets research tasks, a writing agent gets writing tasks. That specialization keeps costs down. Also, review your agent prompts regularly. Prompts written for broad tasks often carry extra context that becomes unnecessary as your workflows tighten. Trimming that reduces every single call. Now here is the bigger picture of why this all matters. One developer named Jonathan Tsai documented running 5 master Openclaw instances, one for each domain of his work, with 10 satellite agents handling specific tasks underneath. Each agent knows its role. Mission control is where the coordination happens. Openclaw agents can also communicate with each other directly through a feature called sessions send. Your research agent passes findings to your writing agent, which passes a draft to your review agent, all without you being the messenger. Mission control gives you the visibility to see all of that and step in when needed. If you have not set up Openclaw yet, start at getopenclaw.ai. Once you have a basic instance running, the mission control repo on GitHub by CRSHDN is your next step. Follow the Docker setup, connect your gateway, and you have a working command center in one sitting. Start simple, one board, 2 or 3 agents with clear roles, a few tasks. Get comfortable with the visibility before you scale up. Mission control takes a powerful but chaotic tool and turns it into something you can actually run like a system. The Kanban boards, live feed, agent sidebar, approval gates, multi-gateway support, all of it adds up to a real change in how you work with AI agents.